Today we're talking about creating a peaceful yet productive morning routine or morning ritual that your entire family can get involved with. Let's get started. Please don't forget to subscribe if you want more videos on money, minimalism, and our travel journey around the world. We do publish a new video every Friday, so please hit that subscribe button below. So what do your mornings look like? Do they look like peace and tranquility and harmony and all that with your family, with your spouse, with your children, or do they look more like chaos? Peaceful mornings are possible, but it does take a little bit of pre-planning to create those peaceful mornings. Mornings should be something that you look forward to, not something you dread. It's a great time of the day, and it can be used as a great time of the day, and it's also how your day starts, so it could also lead to a stressful day if it doesn't start well, so that's why these peaceful and productive mornings are so important. So we're going to talk about some rituals and things that you can do with your family. The morning ritual. Personally, I don't like the phrase routine. I use ritual because ritual sounds really intentional and like it was something that was created. Routine is more something that you just fall into, more thoughtless and passive and boring. So I prefer the term ritual. A productive morning ritual is a well planned out ritual, so that means that you start planning your mornings the night before. So consider using those last few minutes before bed instead of browsing your phone or doing something else, maybe using your phone or a pen and paper to kind of actually plan out a morning ritual for your family. And you can start small with this. You don't have to make an entire huge, every single minute of the day, every minute of the morning sort of thing. It can just be very vague at first, and then you can start molding it so that you can ease into it slowly. This isn't true for everybody, it's definitely true for me, but science is starting to show that with most people, it seems like our brains are more analytical at nighttime and they're more creative in the morning. So when it's analytical, it's a good time to make a list and to kind of be structured and decide what you want to do in the morning. Plus, you generally have a lot bigger aspirations at nighttime for the next day than you do when you actually wake up. But you can use those mornings for creativity and family time. So get your children on board with this. At least, at minimum, have them lay out their clothes for the next day, get the food ready for their lunch, everything, how it's going to go together, and get this stuff planned out ahead of time. Anything you can eliminate from the morning and do the night before is going to save a lot of stress and it's going to make the morning a lot more peaceful. Let's talk morning processes. In the mornings, your kids are going to need to brush their hair, they're going to need to eat, they may need to shower, they may want to complain about how early it is. All these things that your kids are going to want to do, it's going to happen every morning. But you know about these processes ahead of time so you can kind of plan things out. You may want them to make their bed every morning, which is a great habit to instill. They may even have morning chores to do before school, especially if you live on a farm or if you live somewhere where there's a lot to do. All of this needs to be organized the night before so that everyone knows exactly how their morning's gonna go. And if you have a lot of kids like we do, it's good to set actual times for the bathrooms so you can rotate your kids out. Maybe the girls are in there for a certain time period and the boys are in the bedroom making their bed or doing something else, and then they swap. The boys are in the bathroom and the girls are in the bedroom. And our kids always eat breakfast last. We found that that's the best motivation to keep them on track in the mornings. And now they never miss breakfast. The funny thing is, it's kind of like with investing with the pay yourself first. They never miss breakfast now, but whenever breakfast wasn't the last thing they did, there were times when they would forget to brush their teeth, forget to brush their hair, things like that. But now if they have to have everything done before they come to the breakfast table, they want to eat. So they're going to get it done. And I don't think they've ever missed a day of breakfast. It's weird how that works. Of course, depending on the age of your kids, you may have to get their clothes ready for them, or they may get their own clothes ready. Regardless, it's better to do that the night before. But once they get around the 12-year-old age, if not a little sooner, they should definitely be getting their own clothes ready. Even our 7-year-old gets his own clothes ready now, but we still help our 3-year-old get his clothes out, and then sometimes the older kids help the 3-year-old, so everyone can kind of help each other. And just to insert a quick tip, kind of a pro tip, just an idea to try, if you find that your mornings are getting stressful or if they're usually a little bit chaotic, of course, the practical thing to fix that would be to just wake up a little bit earlier and maybe go to sleep a little bit earlier and kind of shift to give yourself a little bit more time, because most likely you just don't have enough time to get everything done without it being chaotic. But another good tip that you can try is to play worship music in the mornings. If you're playing worship music, not too loudly, but just kind of playing it throughout the house to where everyone can hear it, it's amazing how it puts a calm in the air, and it actually will make your mornings a lot more peaceful if you just play worship music. And if that's the only thing you change, that will make a big difference. And whenever your kids do get everything done and they get to the breakfast table, having morning breakfast together is, I would say, equally important, if not more important, than having the family dinner that everyone likes to talk about in a lot of the articles and videos. You'll see how important family dinner is. Family breakfast is a great time to connect with your kids, to give them some positive motivation before they get out the door. Mornings do seem to be an emotional time for kids, honestly for all of us sometimes, but your kids are a little more emotionally vulnerable in the mornings. And if you build them up and give them a lot of positivity before they leave for school, they're much more likely to have a great day at school as opposed to rushing out the door and then, hopping on the bus or getting into the school with that chaotic mindset, and that'll kind of set the tone for their whole day. So now here's how to take the stress out of mornings. Mornings can be hectic and stressful. We've already talked about that, but you can change that. And like I always give you guys practical tips, I'm going to give you 4 tips on how to create a less stressful morning. Number 1, wake up earlier. And you may be thinking, wake up earlier, but I'm already tired when I get up. But I promise waking up a little earlier, whether it's 10 or even 30 minutes, is most likely not going to make you more tired. And if it does, you can just go to sleep a little earlier. Waking up earlier just gives you more time in the mornings so that you have more time to fit the same amount of stuff in, and it's going to be less stressful, and you can ease into everything, and you're not yelling at your kids or freaking out because nothing's getting done in time and you're going to be late for the bus or whatever. It just takes a lot of the stress out if you just wake up a little bit earlier. Number 2, set a schedule. Since you're waking up earlier, you have more time for some productive things in the morning, and that could also mean for you personally. I like to wake up a couple hours before my family wakes up. That's when I do a lot of my videos and my writing and all the side things that I do before I go work out, before I go to work, before I even get the kids up. So having that pre-morning ritual for yourself before the family gets up, that could take a lot of stress out too. And if you set a schedule to where you have certain things you do, maybe you journal, read your Bible, just sit in silence, pray, whatever you want to do, just having some me time in the mornings, that can set the tone. But you need to have a schedule so that you can get up at a certain time a little bit earlier, and then you know exactly when you're going to get your kids up a little bit earlier than normal, like in the last point. But setting a schedule as far as exactly when you're going to wake them up, and especially having the pre-morning ritual for yourself and the things that you're going to do, it just takes a lot of the chaos out of mornings because you have a ritual to yourself before the chaos wakes up. Number 3, reward yourself. If you do take my advice and you decide to do the pre-morning ritual, or if you already do that, since you're waking up earlier, reward yourself for waking up earlier. It'll give you something to look forward to in the morning. It's always good to start the day with a reward, and it's a reward for waking up early and actually getting out of bed. And this doesn't have to be anything extravagant, it's just something really small. It could be your favorite cup of coffee, it could be a cup of tea, some time spent on your hobby in the morning before everybody wakes up. Maybe even watch an episode of one of your favorite TV shows to start until you can find something else that you might want to do more productively with the time. You might want to consider journaling, prayer, meditation, reading your Bible. These are all things that I've incorporated into my personal morning ritual. And if you're not doing any of these things in the morning right now, you can just slowly add them in over time. Or even if you only give 5 minutes to each thing, you might be surprised at how much of a difference it makes, especially journaling. For me, journaling is a huge one. If I have a lot going on, a lot on my mind, just the simple act of writing the things in my mind down makes a huge difference. Finally, number 4, stay positive. So once your kids are awake, it's really important to keep a positive attitude and expect that some things are not going to go as planned. Mornings often don't, but your positivity is going to be contagious, and your entire family may even just learn from you and become a morning person if you're a morning person. Or you might just become a morning person if you're not already a morning person. Just don't be too loud and cheerful in the morning. The Bible talks about people like that. So mornings shouldn't be stressful. It really should be some family time before the day starts, before work, before school. You can't have family time before that. Family time doesn't always have to be in the evening or on the weekends. You can completely change your mornings and actually start to look forward to them. And please comment below, let me know how your mornings go, if you're going to try to make some changes, or if you have any more tips on having a really productive or a really peaceful morning with your family. Before you go, please remember to subscribe for more videos on money, minimalism, and our travel journey around the world. Also check out my new book, Intentional Children. There's an entire chapter about time and time management with a family. It's called Intentional Children. It's my new book. I'll put a link to that below. That is all for today. I will see you next week.